Thank you so much for attending my presentation about fake Pokemon. Today we're going to be talking about some Pokemon that look really good on the surface, but have something that holds them back. First up is Electros. When you look at this thing's basic traits for the first time, one thing will likely jump out at you: Levitate in the electric type. This is very strong for one reason: you don't have any weaknesses. Electric only gets hit for double damage by ground, and Levitate makes you completely immune to those moves. That's pretty damn cool and makes these pokes, in theory, pretty tough to remove. Plus, Electros has a ton of strong attacking moves: Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Volt Switch, Giga Drain, Knockoff, Dragon Pulse, Flash Cannon, hell, even Signal Beam. This gives you a relatively clean way to hit a lot of opposing threats hard. Electros is somewhat scary. However, it's always languished down in the low tiers. Why? The main reason Electros looks good in the first place is for the bulk that having no resistance provides. Unfortunately, the Eel stats let it down in that regard. For defenses, it just has 85, 80, 80. That's pretty bad, making it unable to take powerful neutral attacks comfortably. Sure, they aren't super effective, but you're still eating too much damage. And since it's not fast, this means it's rarely getting many moves off. Reliably switching in on at least one move means way less when he just dies to use it again. Also, Electros doesn't have recovery. It frankly doesn't stay healthy throughout longer games, which is when you'd want a consistent switch the most. This hurts its viability badly. It works best as a bulky attacker, often running an Assault Vest to increase its special bulk immensely. This gives it much more time on the field to use those strong coverage moves, hitting a lot of general threats hard. It peaked in Gen 6, finding a place in RU Balance. However, since it's fallen off a cliff. Currently in Paldea, it's in ZU, and even there it's not seen very often. Hopefully it's able to get a buff soon. Random Battles is a very unique format. You don't have to build a team, instead being given one with 6 random Pokemon on it. These mons are pre-made, aiming to do as well as possible across the board. This can lead to some interesting Pokemon being remarkably frustrating to deal with. A few notable examples are Tropius and Salazzle. These Pokemon are very similar in the fact that they thrive off of chip damage. By using either Leech Seed or Toxic, Substitute, and Protect, you can consistently keep yourself healthy with leftovers while slowly whittling down opponents. It has the potential to literally just win entire games on the spot. Set up a sub on a defensive switch and wreak havoc. And even if they don't rip through all 6 members, putting a dent in the opposing team is very realistic. While they don't have the highest win rates, these Pokemon have gained notoriety as very dangerous win conditions when played right. However, in standard singles, neither of them are very strong in this role despite seeming like they should be. There's a few major reasons for this. The most obvious is the lack of a level difference. In random battles, Pokemon are balanced by their levels. While an ultra-powerful legendary might be in the high 60s, Delibird is all the way 100. This in practice makes all Pokemon at least somewhat useful. There are bad ones, but they don't have as much of a negative impact as it seems on the surface. Both Tropius and Salazzle are major benefactors of this, receiving higher speed and defensive stats than they'd have otherwise. This is obviously a major blow to their viability when every single Pokemon is sitting at level 100. The second reason is more inherently interesting. Since players are actually building their team structures, it's way more difficult to have good matchups. In raid bats, these Pokemon are highly reliant on the opposing team. If something can easily handle them, they don't generally put in that much work. And in singles, when strong teams are going to be built in the way that makes them good against stuff like this, it's basically impossible to execute. Sure, there's going to be the odd build that happens to lose, but it's an insane matchup fish that's almost never worth it in any sort of high tier. You're just going to get owned. In conclusion, a Pokemon's viability isn't just determined by their most flashy traits. Sometimes the stuff that seems less relevant can actually destroy their ability to perform well. Thank you so much for watching.